Well, how do there, chums? I'm inside of a space station. I found quite a nice space station that I think is quite good for this expedition. I mean, I don't know until I run it whether this is going to be useful or not, but I'm buying a hyperdrive module from this guy. Lovely jubbly. And then I'm legging it over round here, and I'm buying myself a pulse splitter module from this guy. So here we go, pulse splitter module, boom. And then from this chap over here, I'm buying an underwater module. Now, because we're going to be going on gas giants, I also think we might end up going on one of these deep ocean planets. So I'm getting the underwater module, and I'm also getting the movement module. Right, okay, well, I think they're probably the best shields I could pick, well, the best modules I could pick up. It would have been nice if I could have got better life support, maybe hazard protection. But you know what? I think we're going to get gifted quite a lot of modules anyway. So I'm grabbing these from here. If you also want to grab these from here, there you go. There's the coordinates in the bottom corner. I need to do another reload and get a load of these. But yeah, the expedition should start today. Expedition Titan. Okay, the new expedition is up. Expedition 17. 6 weeks. 6 weeks on this one, people. Okay, well, let's select what I'm going to be taking with me. Okay, chums, now this is what I'm taking with me. I'm taking my conflict scanner, my economy scanner, and my idiom drive. I've also got some warp modules and the other things that you saw me get at the station. And I've got all this sort of stuff down at the bottom here, just as a little bit of a precautionary type thing. I've got loads of storage capacity just in case we have to haul around a load of stuff like we do in these expeditions. But let's get started. And this is just going to be my best tips video, and hopefully it's going to give you the best tips for you. Well, chums, I've actually completed the expedition now. Phase 1 was really annoying. There's a couple of things that are annoying in Phase 1. The first thing is once you've found your ship, that's fairly straightforward, straight and easy. Now, as you're on the way there, you are going to come across a lot of condensed carbon and a lot of hydrogen. Great, lovely, harvest that. But what I wasn't seeing was any sort of ferrite dust. There was lots of rocks, or they looked like rocks, but when you blasted them, you didn't get any ferrite dust. You had to find these little boulders and these little like disky type ones sticking out the ground to get the ferrite dust, and it was a right pain to get a lot of the ferrite dust to make your metal plating and to get your ship fixed. After you have managed to fix your ship and you take on off, you've got to survey all of the moons of the gas giant. Now there's only, what, 5 of them? And I found 4, fairly straightforward, straight, easy. But then the last one, the 5th one, was extremely difficult. Now, for me, the last one to find was like a green, sort of paradisey planet, or star bramble planet, moon even. But I was going around horizontally. It didn't occur to me to go vertical, like the vertical axis. As soon as I did that, I found it. So yes, just be sure that you check each and every way. If you go all the way around horizontal and you come across the same planet you started at, try going vertical, elliptical, and hopefully you're going to find it. That's how I found it anyway. Document 6 new plants. Now the things that didn't count, you couldn't scan the sodium plants, the oxygen plants. You couldn't scan them. You couldn't scan the hazardous flora either. They didn't count. So you had to find actual trees and actual bushes and things like that. Now, as long as you land on each of the different moons, they've all got quite a lot of flora on. I popped this badge in the first wave. Pretty darn easy, straightforwards. But yeah, the things that were hard, finding ferrite dust and surveying every moon inside of Phase 1. After that, everything else was pretty much straightforward. It was a walk in the park. I'll do, chums, a little bit of an interjection. So, something else that was very awkward about Phase 1 is creating your hyperfuel. So, to create the antimatter, normally you would need to get yourself copper or cadmium or something to spin into the chromatic metal. Well, you're inside of a purple system. The stuff that you need is quartzite. It's actually been replaced. Use quartzite and that spins into your chromatic metal. Just as far as I give that a mention. Heck yes, and for doing that, you get yourself the gas giant poster plans, the depth warning poster plans, and the cartographer's chart plans. So that's Phase 1, people. Okay, so phase 2. Now, you can get your storm crystals on the very first gas giant planet inside of phase 1. However, if you have gone over to phase 2, there's a couple of choices there. Just look for anything that says activated. Now, I think I got mine on an activated gamma world, and I just had to wait for the storm to start. And once the storm started, in fact, I landed my ship aiming at the actual storm crystals and just waited for them to activate, and as soon as they did, jumped out my ship, grabbed them, ran around like a crazed loon and grabbed all the rest and got all my storm crystals fairly nice and easy. Now, the actual 9 species of creature, although that I had visited all the moons in that area in the first phase, I'd scanned a lot of creatures but I only had probably about 6. But then I picked up another 3 on the same planet as I got my my storm crystals from. So that was pretty darn nice, pretty darn straightforward and easy. Now, getting yourself your food, I didn't get it on the Gamma world. Because it had the extreme storms, I took on off and I went on over to a neighbouring planet. I believe it was a lush type, star brambly planet that didn't have any storms. I picked up the actual ingredients that I needed and I created the food fairly straightforward. That wasn't too much of a problem. And then meal in a can, you have to install the ingester. And I don't think I got given this as a blueprinted piece of hardware, so I had to actually craft it. So there is that. That was a bit of a fun one. Yeah, fishing bait recipes, I got given those. However, I didn't use any bait when I went to fishing, but we'll get to that milestone a little bit later. Mine 50 asteroids. I actually did this in phase 1. Because I was flying around and around and around for so long, I had to shoot meteorites and asteroids anyway. And doing that, I managed to get a load of tritium to continue my journey, but I also popped the 50 asteroids in phase 1, and I think a lot of people will do that anyway. Right, the actual aquatic landing jets to land on water, I went and actually built these from scratch and then realised that I'd been gifted them as an actual pre-packaged product afterwards. I don't know which badge actually gave them. Oh, it was the destroy the asteroids, which I did in phase 1, so that's probably why I didn't spot it. But there we go. Anyway, got that in, and then that gives you the Nautilus platform plans, which you're going to need for later. But yeah, installing the aquajets fairly straightforward. Reaching Rendezvous 2, taking a picture of the rendezvous. Always remember to take the pictures. However, I believe this one was quite deep in the water, but you didn't have to swim as far as you could down. Just as soon as you see the Rendezvous 2 pop and you pop the badge, just take a picture in the water and it pops the actual badge. I thought I might have to swim all the way down to the bottom or something to get a picture, but no. As soon as you pop the badge, take a photo just somewhere floating in the water and it works. Very good. Coolio. Phase 3. Okay. Reinforce the exosuit to deep dive, which is fairly straightforward. All these badges are fairly straightforward, to be honest. And then swim down to 1,000 U's. Now, I found that on the planet, on this ocean planet inside of this rendezvous system, there was quite a few comms balls, and those comms balls were put at the depths of the ocean. They helped me locate where I could swim down to that depth, because a couple of places where I landed on my own accord, I swam down, it was only like 500-600 U's. So I found it quite difficult to find it on my own. Luckily, I followed the comms ball, so sometimes they are useful. Cool. Right. Hazard pay. Collect 5 shards of sea glass. Well, you can do that while you're down in the depths, which I did. Something to be a little bit cautious of is some of these actually appear underneath the ground. You dig down and you're going down towards them and you reach a cave, but sometimes as I was digging down I actually zapped them out of existence using my terrain manipulator, so be careful you don't do that. As you're swimming down and as you're swimming back up again, you're going to come across loads of aquatic creatures, and I got all 7 of them just by swimming up and down in the depths of this ocean, which is pretty darn nice. Some giant squids, some pretty cool fauna. So yeah, pop that one fairly easily. Okay, explore a sunken freighter. Right, so you have to deploy the Nautilus for this, which I did, and then I scanned. Didn't find anything. Then I realised that this rendezvous area is actually completely redacted. I don't think it's got any buildings, including crash freighters. So I jumped to a neighbouring system in space. I just went to a yellow star. I didn't go to any dissonant ones or anything like that. I just went to a normal yellow star, landed on a planet that had water, scanned, and I found the sunken freighter. I suggest you probably do the same, because that was a freaking git. Okay, so that's another one that was a little bit tedious, and I think it's a little bit tedious because of the path that's created, not so much of the actual hardness of it. Reach rendezvous 3, take a photo of rendezvous 3, lovely jobs, and that's rendezvous 3 done, and that gives you the surveyor's cape. What did phase 2 give us as a reward, just as a reminder? The Titan stripes, the paint set, of course. Righto, so next up we're going on to phase 4. Okay, so inside of phase 4, what I did is I put down a base first, and I did this on the gas giant inside of that system. Now, the gas giant itself has actually got water. If you land in a crevice, sometimes you're lucky enough just to see the brim of water above the crevice. However, if you don't, and you land in sort of like a bit of a ditch of the planet, just dig down and you will find water, or you should find water. Once you've dug down and you found water, stick down a base computer, put down a cylindrical sort of like underwater room in that water, and put like a moon door bay on the bottom that you can fish through. And that's how I caught my storm fish in there. And I when I was fishing, didn't use any bait, just dredged, caught all of my fish. Heck yes, nice and simple, caught 4 fish relatively quickly. And then when you go to upload the base and you click back on this base mission, it actually tells you what parts you got to build. You got to use a load of wood and flooring, you got to make sure you've got a load of basic resources with you. Otherwise, you can glitch them in. So if you haven't got the parts, what you do is you press triangle to go into the wire mode when you've selected the part that you want. So select the part you want, press triangle to go into wire mode, and then press triangle and R2 at the same time. That's the place button and the wire mode button at the same time. Bang! Takes a little bit of time, it takes a little bit of practice, but you glitch that item in. So that's what I did with my base, managed to glitch it all in, then deleted it all, and just left my gas fishing base. On that gas giant is my base. You can use my base. Hopefully if it shows up for you, you can use my base anyway. But after I made my base, then I could actually put down a geobay in the same way. I could just glitch it in. The Titan geobay. Bang! In it goes. Lovely jubbly. Done, dilly and done. You have to get in it and just drive it for a second, then the badge pops. You haven't got a booster, so it goes as slow as a slug in taffy. So yeah, and there's also a badge to harvest all of this crystalline helium. So I'm driving around in this Colossus, and when I got to the actual helium, I tried aiming the cannon down at this resource to mine it. It wouldn't go down further enough, so I got out anyway. Completely pointless taking the blinking exocraft, I tell you. But anyways, this one here, Winds of Change, I actually did that on phase 1 on the gas giant there. As I was heading towards my ship, I jumped and hit a tornado and got thrown in the air. That was actually the first badge that I popped on this whole expedition. Yeah, the Winds of Change. Pop that in phase 1. So if you haven't popped it in phase 1, just look for a tornado. There's a lot of them going about on these gas giants, and hopefully you're going to get that one. Reach rendezvous 4, take a photo around rendezvous 4, and that pops you the Pillar of Titan multi-tool. Cool. So we got the cape in the last one. This is the Pillar of Titan multi-tool. It's a very nice multi-tool. Mine came equipped with a blaze javelin of all things. Very nice. Anyway, on to phase 5. Okay, phase 5, I was just shy of the nanites I needed. I was on something like 5,000 nanites. So I went into my discoveries page, uploaded everything. Boom, that got me about 2,000 nanites. And then I just went into the station. Luckily, this actual rendezvous has got a station that's actually working. So you can go and speak to a vendor and sell any of the modules that you haven't installed. I had an X-Class one. I had a load of lasers and bits and bobs for the exocraft that I didn't bother installing. So I sold all of them as well. Nautilin ones, all sorts. Sold all the stuff that I didn't need. I also had a couple of duplicates where I brought some with me for movement modules, so I had a couple of movement modules I could sell. That got me over the quota for that one to pop that one. This one, Legacy, Name a Discovery. Well, I went through my back catalogue. Oh, I'd already uploaded everything because of that. But you can just hit rename now. On any of your discoveries, you can just rename them. So I found something that I did the other day. I named something Death Trooper and I just put 2025 on the end and press return. Boom! And I got that. So Death Trooper's one of my viewers. Hello, Death Trooper. Salute to Monday. Cool, yeah. So that popped that badge. Collecting the fossils. Oh my days, this one was horrible. Why was it horrible? Well, the planet that I did it on was the only planet in the system that had ancient bones. So you're probably going to go to the same planet. every single area that I went to only had one bone in the hole, so I had to go to 6 different places, and they're so spread out, they're so sparse in number. I was actually just flying around in my ship, landing, getting out, looking, finding one, locking onto it, getting back in my ship, flying over to it, landing, getting out, grabbing it. And the sweep scanner, the dang thing, keeps pointing you back at the same holes you've already been to. So make sure you lock onto a compass direction, like south or east or whatever, and just keep going that way. Don't double back on yourself, because you're going to end up going back to the same hole that you've already dug. It's a nightmare. Make sure you've got multiplayer off as well. Make sure PvP's off. That should have been one of the very first tips that I gave you. Just make sure all your multiplayer's off, and PvP and that sort of, and don't let anyone join your game, because they might nick the bones before you get there. Discover a creature, data worth 90,000 units. I actually popped this when I was in the deep ocean planet and I was scanning all the sea creatures. It actually popped on one of the sea creatures that I scanned. I got 90,000 units that way. Another way to get the 90,000 units is you are going to get given S-class scanner modules, which you can implement inside your multi-tool. Now, I had 2 inside of my first multi-tool, and then when I swapped over to the pillar, I had another 2 in there. So I just needed to take the 2 out of the previous multi-tool and just choose the highest one of the 2 and install that into the actual staff multi-tool, and that would give you the 90,000. So if you're struggling with that, double check your old multi-tool and see if there's an S-class module you can move over to boost your scanner inside of the multi-tool that you have in hand. Surveyor of Wilds, walked 9,999 U's. Well, that popped as I was trying to get all these bones, because you're walking all over the frickin' shop or using your ship and a bit of both. But yeah, that one's going to happen ambulantly, and if it hasn't happened ambulantly, just find yourself a lovely, tranquil, lush or planet where you can just walk around in a circle and not get aggravated by storms, and running actually speeds it up. If that wasn't obvious. Cool, don't reach Rendezvous 5, take your photo, and then claim your rewards, which you're going to get the title, the Surveyor of Worlds, the Titan Decal Plans, and the Titan Banner. Now, lastly, people, you haven't quite finished. To get your ship, you have to click this last icon over here. If you don't click that last icon over there, you don't actually complete the actual expedition, and you won't claim the Wraith. So make sure you click that. Here we go, compare. And that's the ship. Yep. We're gonna. Oh, looks like you have to buy it with nanites. That's a bit weird. Alright, okay. I'll buy it anyway. There we go. We've now got it. We've got the expedition is complete. Do you wish to accept? Yes, I do. Lovely jubbly. And there's my Wraith over there. Now, for me to go claim this ship over on my other save, I am going to need to free up a ship slot, which I may have to do in a bit. A little bit of caution there. So people, if this has been helpful to you, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit a like and subscribe and all that sort of shenanigans. And what I'm going to need to do is, I think I've already put a ship or 2 into storage. Oh no, I haven't. I haven't put anything into storage. So I'm going to go claim my ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly on out. I'm going to put a ship into storage. Now, I have heard that this ship archive in storage can be a little bit broken at times. If you put a ship into it, sometimes when you take the ship back out of it, sometimes you lose, well, you're going to lose all the resources for a start, so make sure you take all the resources out of the ship that you're going to stow. But you may lose the ship's colorization. Doesn't really matter too much, because you can probably, re-customize it. And I think it only happens to your customized ships at that, anyway. But I need to try and work out which ship I wish to stow. I could stow my living ship. Let's go and have a look, see if I've got anything in my living ship that needs to be taken out of my living ship when it comes to storage. Oh my days, that's where all my flying pets are. Alright, well, I don't really want to stow that one because I might be doing an egg giveaway. However, pets at the moment are broken. I'm going to be doing a video on pets and how broken they are very shortly, so I'll probably keep that. I could stow away my starborn runner. Or how about this giant hauler? I don't ever use my hauler. Let's have a look what's inside the hauler. Yeah, we can stow that. Aha! We've got a load of tainted metal. That's good. Lovely. Alright, there's a couple of bits in there that I will probably use. In fact, I'll take a load of this stuff out and I'll reconvene when I finish sorting things. Okay, well, I've sorted out the hauler. Let's head on up and let's go and stow it. So if you go into here, manage ship archive. So, oh, I have already got the Starborn Phoenix in there and the Utopia Speeder. So I might have just been able to claim this, but let's just stick that hauler in there anyway, the smuggle wagon. Warning, primary ship cannot be put into long-term storage. Oh, for fudge's sake, really? Alright, it'd be nice if you could change your primary ship from up there, wouldn't it? Alright, well, let's just change my primary to this one for a second then. Jump in my ship, out of my ship. And let's go and put the smuggle wagon in there. And what I might do is then just try to retrieve the smuggle wagon and see if there's anything wrong with its colour. Just so you know, if there is something wrong, at least you guys know that it's a bit busted. So let's stick that in there. Yes, confirm. Coolio. And now if I want to restore that ship, let's get it back out. And it looks like it has kept the actual colour, which is good. So the Utopia Speeder and the Starborn Phoenix. I might just put the smuggle wagon in there anyway, because I very rarely use my hauler anyhow. At least I've got a free ship slot. And then that way, if I do want to continue using this lovely new blue ship for a little while, I can. But to be honest, it's not my normal ship colours. And I kind of feel that the living ships at the moment are a little bit underpowered. Mainly because you can't get any sort of the technologies, the awesome technologies that you can for other ships. Can't even get rocket launchers. The only thing you've got is the equivalent of the photon cannons and the phase beams. Let's face it, who uses those? But that's all you're restricted to inside the living ships right now. I feel that they need to add in some sort of living ship planets where we can get more modules and maybe even have living ship vendors or something. I don't know. However they want to do it, it just needs to be done. Because at the moment, I don't think anyone uses living ships really, unless they've done a reskin. And then you can make some real powerful ships that way. Anyway, collect expedition rewards. So we can have that. And compare. And we're just going to claim the free ship. There we are. We'll have that. Thank you very much. We've got the Wraith. We'll go fly it out in a minute and have a better look at it. Collect expedition rewards. We get the Titan Decal. And we'll have this lovely new multi-tool. Take multi-tool for free. Oh yeah, I did stow a couple of multi-tools. So that's alright. We'll have that then. Go into here, collect expedition rewards, we'll have the posters. Lovely. Well, there we go, people. That's pretty much everything. And there's the Wraith over there. Let's go get in it. Let's have a quick look at it. Let's have a better look at its animations firstly before I get in it. I do like that animation underneath. That's quite nice. That is quite a cool ship. Let's fly it out. I want to fly it down to a planet and see if it's got the hover in place. Or whether it just continues to drift. I like the ships that hover in place. Yeah, we just go down to this boggy planet. It doesn't really matter what the planet looks like, does it? And have a quick gander and see if it hovers in place or whether it still drifts. Very nice looking ship on the interior. I mean, it's a living ship basically, isn't it? I guess. Right, I'm holding brake, and no, it continues to drift. So it's not so good at shooting the planets. The Sentinel planets and the Starborn Runner are my favourites for just sort of like gliding over a planet and collecting resources. These ones that drift, you can't really do that with them. But it's not a bad ship. I don't know whether it's got any perks. Some people are wondering whether you can fly it underwater. I don't think that's going to be the case. If it is the case, though, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much that done. So that's the whole of the expedition. That's my best tips for the expedition. Something I would say is be careful what you take into the expedition because you can't take it back out again. So be careful what commodities you take. And for me, everything was greyed out when I was trying to retrieve things at the end there. So I think it's like maybe that's by design to stop you from taking that purple drive out of the game and cutting out in-game gate locking. But it would have been nice to have been warned that before you started the expedition, wouldn't it? Unless it did warn me and I just completely ignored it. But there we go, people. That's pretty much everything that I have for you guys in the viewerverse. Hopefully these tips have been useful. And like I say, chums, if it has been useful, please hit a like. Please hit a subscribe. It does mean a lot to the channel. And yeah, I'm on 50,000 subscribers. That's halfway to getting one of those gnarly YouTube plaques, which I would love to get. So if you can help me get that, that'd be more than appreciated. Thank you, people in the viewerverse. Goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again.